Hey everybody, I'm Scott Stanford, host of our OG Sports segments here on the OnlyGood News Show. Now, we're always on the lookout for inspiring sports stories, amazing athletes, and one-of-a-kind comebacks. Today, I want to introduce you to Anthony Shew. He's a 26-year-old pitcher on the St. Louis Cardinals farm system and a co-founder of the Adopt a Minor Leaguer organization. Adopt a Minor Leaguer is a charity organization that's connected out-of-work baseball players and sponsors to assist these players who really have no income, as well as providing emotional support during this crazy time of coronavirus. You see, many of these players are out of work and aren't quite sure where their next paycheck is coming from. But these players shouldn't have to give up on their years of dedication, their hard work, and their dream to one day play Major League Baseball. And that's where Adopt a Minor Leaguer comes in. Anthony, listen, man, thanks for spending a few minutes with us. How are you, pal?
Absolutely. Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, man. Listen, I want to start, we're going to get into Adopt a Minor Leaguer in a second because it's such a great organization. But first, I want to talk about you, my friend. At what age did you get involved and know that you wanted to be a professional baseball player? Did you play when you were younger?
Yeah, I started playing when I was about 3 years old. And I just kind of took the path that a lot of young guys do. You start playing when you're a little guy, and you play those travel ball games, you play those high school games. All of a sudden, you start working your way up, and things start getting more real and real towards the professional levels. And I would say right about senior year of high school, getting into college ball, was when I started. Okay, this is something that I could, somebody might need me to do this.
Yeah, and were you always a pitcher? Did you always want to be on the mound, or were you playing a position before you got into pitching?
For whatever reason, I always preferred the defensive side of the ball. I turned into being a pitcher only during high school. I think now I'm not going to get to hit anymore now that they changed the rules, but I was going to say I hit every now and then, and it's still hard.
Yeah, no, listen, they say that's the toughest thing in sports, right?
Yeah, I respect those guys for doing that.
So before we get into the actual virus and the shutdown, what were your expectations for you as a player heading into the 2020 season? Were there things you were looking to improve upon? Did you feel like this was a good opportunity? This was your season where you could show the people upstairs a little something to help you move up?
Yeah, of course, you ask any player that, they're going to tell you, oh yeah, this year's the year. But, I had spent a little bit of time in AAA. Unfortunately, I got hit by a line drive right in the inside of my elbow, right about where guys get Tommy John most of the time. Ruptured my nerve a little bit and messed with my nerve a little bit. Had to have surgery, so that ended my season last year. But yeah, I was during this past off season, I had cleaned up some things with my mechanics, and I was super excited to get going again this year. And we went to spring training for a couple of days, and they sent us home, and haven't been back since. Oh man, no,
it's awful. Listen, when Commissioner Manfred announced that there'd be no minor league schedule this year, what was the reaction from you guys? What was the conversation like amongst the players?
It was something that by the time it had gotten officially announced, it was something that we were all kind of expecting. Over the course of time, we had just more and more. The longer that we weren't playing, it was like, oh boy, this is starting to look more and more bleak. Over the course of time, we had started really gathering together that, there probably wasn't going to be a minor league season this year. And then once that official word did come down, it was pretty disappointing.
And was there just like a feeling of, oh man, we don't make really a lot of money as it is. What the heck are we going to do now? This is our livelihood. How are we going to come up with money just to pay the bills if we're not even playing ball?
Right. As you mentioned, we don't make that much, but the little bit that we do, a lot of us depend on that. At the time when we had gotten sent home, my wife, she was student teaching, so she wasn't receiving an income at that time either. And so, there was a couple weeks there that we were like, oh boy, where's the grocery bill going to come from for the next couple weeks, stuff like that. So, initially a lot of the teams did say, hey, we're going to be paying those minor leaguers, all the players, but minor leaguers, we're going to be giving them a stipend, as things have continued on, that practice kind of formalized. And so thankfully that did end up happening, but for a moment there, it was a little scary.
So I know Adopt a Minor Leaguer was actually formed to help players who are making little money. The mission now has obviously changed. And how did you, get connected with the organization?
I actually, when we were in spring training, there was one of my teammates had mentioned, "Hey, have you seen this adopt a minor leaguer thing on Twitter? You know, it looks like they're like matching up guys with fan sponsors, something like that." And so, I just started to check it out. And as we've mentioned, minor leaguers don't get paid much, and so I had taken it upon myself during my rookie season. I learned web development and programming. I just kind of taught myself when I wasn't at the field.
Nice.
And so now I have 4 or 5 years of web development experience. And so, I saw what he was doing, and it was something that really spoke to me. Obviously, I was a part of the demographic he was helping out. And I just mentioned to him, "Hey, it looks like you're really doing great work. And, if you need a website, I know how to do this, and I can provide a player's perspective for you as well." And so that was initially what it was. It was just I was going to make a website for him. And then, it just turned into so much more. And then I turned into the CTO for us.
That's great, man. How can people get involved? How can they become sponsors? And, I have to assume that this support really just means the world to these minor league ball players.
Yeah. If you do want to get involved, you can visit adoptaminor.com. We have a Dear Sponsors page on there where you can sign up to be a sponsor. And the players will sign up on their end as well on their page. And on our Dear Sponsors page right there, you'll see everything that a sponsor commits to as far as what we ask of them and the relationship that they build with their player. Long story short, it's $150-ish of financial aid every month. So that can come in the form of helping with groceries. We are athletes, so maybe protein supplements. I've seen a guy who, during the midst of the pandemic, he didn't have anywhere to hit. So the sponsor sent him stuff that he could hit with, and the guy ended up with having a driveway set up that he could hit off the tee, hit into a net.
That's great.
Some sponsors and players just agree that, just straight up cash is great. But yeah, as long as that we ask for $150 of value, whatever form it takes, that we don't really mind, as long as the player and the sponsor agree that that's what they want to agree on. And then other than that, we are a nonprofit, so we accept donations on our end, that we do grants to players every intermittently. So yeah, it's kind of a twofold thing that we help out guys that we feel like are being underserviced.
What's been the response from guys that you're close with or you're friends with? The guys that you speak to, what's been the response about Adopt a Minor Leaguer that you've heard?
Well, we just recently did a round of grants. We gave 3 grants of $500 based on certain criteria. Those are on our adoptaminorleaguer.com in our blog section as well, if you want to look those up and see how those went. But yeah, that time specifically, those guys that got awarded those grants, it just meant the world to them. One guy that I can speak for, he was doing janitorial work in the off season. He was getting by in the off, because we don't get paid in the off season. He was getting by in the off season. He said he would wake up in the morning, do all his training, and after that, it was a work shift 9 to 5, just like anybody else had. And he was cleaning toilets and fixing up trash cans and the whole deal, just like, and probably nobody in the building knows that he's literally a professional athlete. Yeah. So
it's crazy. Those are the stories, the stories you hear on Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon from the big shots when they make it to the major league.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So between him and then, every once in a while we just, it's great. Every once in a while we get that feedback from those players that, they just send us a direct message or they post about us on their Twitter or whatever, what have you. But yeah, guys sing our praises when they take the opportunity to. It really is rewarding.
Love it. adoptaminorleaguer.com. Such a fantastic organization. Anthony, what are we going to see from you in the near future, my friend? We're going to see you up in the bigs one of these days?
I'm hoping so. Like I said, I spent the last time that I was playing, I was in AAA, so we like to say we were a phone call away from the big leagues. So hopefully I can put together a good string of pitching and really show them that my arm's right, and put together a good string of pitching and soar to new heights.
Major leagues or bust, right, my friend?
Absolutely.
Anthony, thanks for joining us here on OGN, bud. Best of luck to you, and adoptaminorleaguer.com. It's fantastic. Thank you, bud.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.